Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to learn about the aggregation pipelines. So, till now we have completed all the fundamental CRUD operations and it was quite easy. And we all have already done that previously in the backend series also. And here we have also done using MongoDB. But now a new concept of aggregation pipeline is there in a MongoDB. So let's explore it and let's see what it is about and what are aggregation pipelines. So let me take you straight through the documentation so that we can directly learn from there. Okay. So here is a official MongoDB documentation about aggregation pipeline. I will give the link in the description. You can read more about it so that you can get more familiar with it and more knowledge about it. But we will explore a bit about here so that we get detailed information. So what is aggregation pipeline in MongoDB? The aggregation pipeline refers to a specific flow of operations that processes, transforms and returns results. In a pipeline, successive operations are informed by the previous results. Now this may sound a bit not so much friendly to understand, so let me try to put it in this way. So if you have written SQL query or if you have seen SQL queries, then in SQL queries we have multiple sub queries also, as well as we have operations like we want a few fields, but we also have something like count or average along with the various fields we want from the result. Okay, so all those operations that we do in SQL queries like that, whether we are writing a subquery or whether we are doing something like group by a particular field, or you can say order by a particular order by whether in a ascending order or result in a descending order. So that kind of operations is there in SQL, but in NoSQL we have a concept of aggregation pipelines. Okay, it is kind of same only with, of course, various differences in how it is implemented here. Okay, now they have given a generalized way of how a typical pipeline looks like. So we have an input, which is basically a collection of documents. Okay, then we have operation known as match, a group, a sort, and then finally we have a output. Now these match, group and sort are referred as the stages in the pipeline. So if you see here, input refers to one or more documents. So you have seen that if you go to the DB, we have certain documents, records here. So these all are the input. Okay, then these are the operations. We will learn about these operations. So match, group and sort are various stages in our pipeline. The output from the match stage is fed into the group, and then the output from the group stage into the sort. Okay, so output from one stage is transferred to another stage, is carried forward to another stage. Okay, and then that stage performs the operation on that particular output of the previous stage, right? So it is very simple to understand, as you can see, and these three stages collectively can be called an aggregation pipeline. Okay, now implementing a pipeline helps us break down queries into easier stages. Each stage uses namesake operators to complete transformation so that we can achieve our goal. So namesake operators are like what I have said here: match, group, sort. So these are some kind of operations or operators, you can say, which perform certain kind of operations based on what we want or what our expectations are. Those are the kind of transformation which is there. Also, while there is no limit to the number of stages used in the query, it is worth noting that the order of stages matters and there are optimizations that can help your pipeline perform better. For example, a match is at the beginning of the pipeline greatly improves overall performance. Okay, so you can have as many of stages as you want depending on your business requirements, but the order in which you put the stages or how you use each operations, it actually matters. If you use match first and group later, then the result will be different, and if you use group first match later, then it will be different. Okay, so that is important thing. One instance it has said it, generally we use match first because it overall performance is improved better. Match basically is you you can say, in terms of SQL, if I have to say, then it is like select star from a particular table where suppose a course ID equal to this. So this where clause is kind of a match. Okay, so it is same like that. Now they've given an example here. Here is a 4-5 records of students, and here a query is written. So it is applying the match stage first. So it is providing a field name and the field value. Okay, and then it is grouping the records using student ID, and another column is being created known as total, and this total column denotes the sum of all the course fee. So as you can see here, it is what it is doing here, right? So if you see now, what are aggregation pipeline operators in MongoDB? So there are various operations like arithmetic expression, array expression, boolean expression. We don't need to get into each of them very detail. If you want, you can go here, whole documentation is there, everything is there. You can explore more and more. Our goal, my goal for this series is to make you aware of how this can be implemented using Spring Boot. Once you get an idea, you can go as much complex as it is, because it will be very much easier for you then. It is not going to be that hard. Okay, so some of the frequently used one are project, match, group. So for match, this says filters a document stream to allow only matching documents to pass unmodified into the next pipeline stage. Okay, so it basically filters based on a particular condition. It groups together the collection of documents by a particular field, and sort, as you know, it sorts whether depending on particular field, in generally in using a key. So that key can be an arithmetic value or a particular custom key also you can give it. Okay, so these are the kind of things that is there. We will see soon, and there are ways here given how to optimize performance in MongoDB aggregation pipeline. So you can go through this documentation and learn more about it. But as I said, our goal is to implement this in Spring Boot. Now to implement in Spring Boot, there are two ways to do it. The first way is to write the query ourselves, to declare a method and provide a query for that method. Okay, so we will see that way. And second way is to directly create a method and then do it programmatically using the APIs that is given. Okay, so we will see both ways how to do it, using the native query of course, and then using the programmatically way. So whichever you find it useful or you find it easier to do, you can do it. Okay, so let's come here. Let's go to course repository. So here we will first define one method and write a query for that method. So we will write a query, but first we need to see what kind of expectation do we have. Okay, so what we require is, our first stage we need to find all the courses by an instructor. We will provide an instructor name. So we will find all courses by instructor where course fee is greater than suppose 3000. Okay, something like that. So this is a kind of the objective that we want to achieve. So let's see how we can do it. So since we need to find all courses, so we will provide a list. So list of course, then we will say find by instructor and course fee. Okay, so we will provide an instructor as an parameter. We will pass the value of the instructor and value of the course fee. Perfect. So this is our method that we want to call. But how does the MongoDB will know what exactly the implementation should be? So for implementation, we have to provide our own the actual query for it. How we will write our query? So I'll just copy paste the query that I have, because the queries in the NoSQL is very deep dive, very complex. So I'll just copy paste it. Okay, so I have copy pasted this query here. And as you can see why I have copy pasted, because it is quite complex thing to do. So this is the one way to do it. All you need is you need to know the way to write these queries. Okay, so for sometimes for performance reason we need to write our own custom query like this, but most of the time we do it programmatically because it is more easier. So but we should know this way also. Okay, so what I'm doing is we are defining a annotation aggregation, and we are defining a pipeline. So this is the first stage of pipeline. Okay, so pipelines are here comma separated. Okay, so this is the first stage of the pipeline. Now it says match, and we are giving a field name and field value. So here when we say, we have to pass the field value as dynamically. So this parameter is the 0th index parameter. This is the first index parameters. You can write like this, or you can remember like this. Okay, so we are passing the 0th index parameter first, and then here we are creating another stage where we are matching using course fee, which is greater than. So this $GT is greater than and the course fee value. So this is a aggregation pipeline query. Now we need to define this method actually. So we have to go here first. We'll define here. So find by instructor and course fee, or you can say find all courses by instructor and course fee. So we will say course find by, or we can just copy paste it. Wait, hold on. Okay, so I have just copy pasted here. Now we need to implement. So let's go here and then let's implement the method. So what we need to do is we just need to call the method. So we will call course repository dot find by this. We'll pass instructor and course fee. Okay, now we'll go to course controller. We will define a get mapping. So get mapping, we will say instructor slash a path variable we will pass, and then course fee or something like this. Okay, you can get this as a request body also if you want, but you have to then create another DTO class for that. For now I'm taking as a path variable. Okay, so we will have a response entity list of course, again the same name. Okay, and then simply we have to return a response entity dot okay this dot course service dot course by id instructor comma course fee. Simple. And of course we have to write these things so that we are using Swagger. So let's do this. So we will say find all courses by instructor and course fee. Okay, we will find all courses using aggregation pipeline stages. Okay, and this is part of get. Here we will say list dot class. Okay, so this is perfect. Okay, so this is how we are going to implement it. Now let's just rerun the application. first. Hope everything is running fine. Okay, so here everything is running fine. Let's go here in the Swagger API. Let's reload the page, and we have another get method. Okay, here you can see. So let's try it out. Okay, so we will pass the name of the instructor, and we will pass let's see, 3000 is fine or not. 4000 one course, 3000 another course, and 7000. So we will pass here 3000. Okay, now what we should get it, since this course we should get Golang course 2024, this is greater than 3000, so we should get this course. TypeScript course here, so this is actually equal to 3000, so this should not come in the result. Okay, and then finally we have this Angular course 2024 by Rakesh Mehta, so this is a 4000 course, so this should also come in the list. So two courses are there which should come in the list. I hope there are no more courses. Yeah, correct. So let's execute them, and if we execute, we see here two courses are coming, Angular course and Golang course, which is by the instructor that we have provided, Rakesh Mehta, and the condition of courses price should be greater than 3000, right? So this is fantastic. Now we need to do this, we will do this using programmatic way. So let's see how we can do it using programmatic way. So we will come here. Okay, now rather than calling the method here, okay, I'll do what, let's go to here. For now let's return null, because we will return something, and now we are going to do the implementation programmatically. So how programmatically we can do? So Spring, when you include the dependency of Spring Boot MongoDB, it gives you certain methods, certain classes and interfaces to deal with, which can help you in building your own aggregation pipelines. Okay, first thing we have to do is the match operation. So we have to match all the records, or filter out all the records by matching the instructor. So there is a class known as match operation, okay, and we will do match operation 1. This is the first match operation, first pipeline, first stage in the pipeline. Okay, it has a static method match, okay, which takes a criteria. Criteria means condition, on basis of what condition you want to match. So we will say new criteria, and then we will pass the name of the field. So name of the field is instructor, and we will say is means what the value of the field is. So value of the field is the parameter value. Okay, so this is how we can define our condition. So this is the first stage of pipeline, first stage of aggregation pipeline. Okay, done. Now we will implement second stage. So second stage again is a match. So we will say match operation 2. We will match again. Okay, now what this criteria is, the criteria is course fee we have to use, but it should be greater than the particular given value. So we will say new criteria, it is course fee, it should be greater than .gt and greater than what, course fee. So we have put a second condition also, right? Now we need to create a pipeline. We have defined the stages, but we have not yet created. We now need to define that we need to integrate these two stages to form a pipeline. There is we will use aggregation equal to, aggregation is our interface. Just remember that this interface belongs to org.springframework.data.mongodb.core.aggregation. Okay, so we will say aggregation. Now we need to create an object of aggregation. So we will do new aggregation. New aggregation is a static method, and we will pass the stages. So match operation 1 comma match operation 2. Okay, so we have created a pipeline, created aggregation pipeline, correct? Now we want to fetch the result from pipeline. Get the result from aggregation pipeline. So how do we get the aggregation result? We have something known as aggregation results. If you see here, we have aggregation results. It is a what kind of result we are expecting. So we are expecting a course. Okay, so we will say aggregation results equal to, now there is something known as Mongo template which we need to use to execute this pipeline. We have created the pipeline, but we need to execute it. Only if this pipeline is executed, then only it will give us the result. So to execute, we need a dependency of Mongo template. So we'll come here and we'll say private final Mongo template, and we will add into the constructor. And now we'll come here and say Mongo template dot aggregate. Now first we will pass the aggregation pipeline. Okay, so this is our aggregation pipeline that we want to execute. Then we will say, then it asks for a input type. So what kind of input we are giving, means the class type basically. So we will say it is a courses, and third is course dot class. Okay, so this is what we need to pass. First thing is the aggregation pipeline, second is the name of the collection, third is the class which is to which we have to map the collection. Okay, this will give us the aggregation result, and finally we will say aggregation results dot get mapped results. So it will give us the list of course. Okay, so this is how we need to do the things. I hope you have understood it, right? So once again I explain. First we need to create the match operation, the first stage. Then we need to create we have created a second stage where we have defined that there is a course fee which is greater than course fee, the given course fee value. Then we have created a pipeline, and then we have executed the pipeline using Mongo template by providing the pipeline, by providing the name of the collection, and by providing the class which is mapping to that collection. And finally we are storing that result in the aggregation results. In aggregation result we are passing the type is course, because every document is of type course. So that's why we are using course, not list of courses. We will get the list of courses, that is a different thing, but the aggregation result is of type course, so we are passing course here. Okay, and to get the whole list, we are using aggregation result dot get mapped results. Okay, so now let's try to rerun the application and see if our execution is same, or if, because we have only changed the implementation in the service class, we have not there in the controller, nothing will be affected. So if we go here, reload the changes, come here and try it out. So again let's pass the same thing, Rakesh Mehta, and we will pass 3000, and if we execute, you see again we are getting the same result, which is perfectly fine. Now let's execute, or let's try another example, so to get more clear. Okay, here we will use a group operation. So what we are going to do, we are going to filter all records by instructor. So we'll provide the name of an instructor, so it will give all the records which is of that particular instructor, and then we will see the count of courses, the number of courses that person has, and average price. Okay, so this is the main objective of us, right? So here we will say, or let's create a method here first. So it will just return a course simply. Then we will say find, or we can say, now here it will involve the operation of match and group. So let's say find by instructor. Okay, find by instructor, match and group. So string instructor. Okay, this is the main thing that we are trying to do. Now here you will see something very different. What different? Let's see. Okay, let's put this here. Okay, so first criteria is to find all the records by the given instructor. So we have already done here. So this is the first stage. So let's put the first stage as it is here. Now in the second stage, what we have to do is we have to count the number of courses and we have to average the price. So for this particular thing, we have to use a group operation. Okay, so here group operation will be useful. So second stage, to achieve the second stage, we need to use a group operation. Okay, so there's another known as group operation. We will say group operation equal to. So now the first is we have to group. So group by condition is instructor, give the grouping by instructor, and then what we have to do is we have to count. So count dot as. Now count dot as means there has to be a field. Okay, name of the column which we want to denote. So this is total count, or we can say total courses. So this is a field alias. Okay, I'm using. Then we have to do average pricing. Okay, so we have to see average of what. So we have to say average of course fee. Average of course fee dot as average course price. Correct. So this is how we are going to execute. Right now these two things are done. Now the next steps are same. Aggregation equal to new aggregation, and we have to pass both operations. So match operation and then group operation, and again aggregation results, pass course. Now here we cannot actually pass course, and the reason for this is what it will give us. First we need to see this. It will give us it will not give us the course, the fields of the courses. It will give us all the it will give us something like the result will be instructor name, count, and average price. Okay, these three will be the actual fields that it will be providing us. But do we have any class which can do this? No, we don't have this class which can do this, and we cannot use course here. So we need to create a custom class here. Okay, so in the entities only, let's create another class. So we will say something like response DTO, and we will use it as a record. In the record we will pass a string instructor integer count, or you can say yes course count, and double average course price. Right, so this is what we need to do. Now here we will use this thing, response DTO aggregation results equal to let's minimize this. So aggregation results equal to mongo template dot aggregate. We will pass aggregation, then we have to pass the collection name, then finally we have to pass the class name. So response DTO dot class, because it will be mapped to this class. Okay, that's why. Perfect. And then since the result will be only for a single instructor, it will be just one result, so we will say aggregation results dot get unique map result. We will transform it to response DTO. Okay, we have to change here also response DTO. Okay, perfect. Now we need to create a method here. So let's create another method, get mapping. Here we just need to pass an instructor, and we will pass an instructor here. So public response entity, we will get response DTO. Just let's use this method name itself. And okay, here we have not used path variable. We should have used it. Worked, but still we need to use this path variable. Path variable string instructor. Okay, string instructor, then return response entity dot okay, this dot core service dot match and group, and instructor. Perfect. So this we have done, and now we need to just copy paste this one to integrate into our Swagger API. So we will say find aggregate result about given instructor. Okay, so we will find and just we'll see this only. Okay, and rather than list.class we will have response.dto.class. Perfect. Now let's rerun our application. So if we rerun our application, everything is working fine. Let's go here, let's change it, and now we will try it out. So let's try to pass the first instructor Rakesh Mehta only, and let's see what we get. So we pass here, we will get nothing. Okay, there is something a problem. Instructor, let me check once. Okay, so we had a problem earlier in that where we were getting here null and null. The reason was one thing, I committed a mistake here in the response DTO. We have to define the fields, the name of the fields here and the name of the fields here should be same. Now we are grouping it as a instructor, but the field is instructor, but it is getting, we have to map it to an ID. Why ID? Because if you see your logs in your console, you will see that there is a ID field which the group operator takes up. Okay, so that has to be there, and since we are using the alias for count as total courses, so we have to use the integer, the name of the second field should be total courses. So just make sure that all these fields and here the alias we have used is different. Okay, that's the only thing, nothing much. Okay, so this is the only, because of this there were certain flaws in the results. Perfect. So we have seen how aggregation pipelines work and how they are so much powerful and useful. Now you can use your creative mindset and come up with various situations, try to use various stages, create pipelines, and I hope that you may be thinking that this way of doing it programmatically is much more better rather than doing this way, because it is very much messed up and the chances of errors are very too high. So Spring Boot provides you with these easy to use APIs, so just use them and use your own examples, your own conditions, own examples. I hope that would be sufficient for your practice. So that's all for this video. If you like the content, please hit the like button. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel for more such awesome content coming up. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.